and welcome back to a new Pace podcast. I'm your host, Leslie Andrew, and today we have Jenny Hardacre, another artist in the house to talk about all things creativity. Welcome, Jenny. I actually think that I pronounced your name incorrectly then, so let's just check that.
Yeah, it's Hardacre. So think of me, I'm hard and I work on an acre, but I don't work on an acre.
An acre of land. Yes. So how are you this morning? It's not even this morning, it's an afternoon, but how are you today? What a great start.
Leslie, today I am absolutely over the moon. Last night, I connected with about 112 people on a live Zoom and we did a painting together. And there were people all around the world. So we're talking Australia, America, the Philippines, Europe. It was beautiful. I'm on a high. I've not slept. People are now investing in my course, Acrylic Mastery. I'm just over the moon today. Today, I've not slept. I'm on caffeine and I'm very excited.
Ooh, that sounds so lovely to hear and so exciting. And there's so many different elements to that make me kind of really drawn to kind of wonder, like, how would you describe what it is that you do then?
So I help predominantly women reconnect with their creativity and give themselves back time by learning to paint through acrylic. So you don't have to know how to paint at all. That's what I'm here for. But the benefits of painting, as you know, are incredible. And I want to give that back to as many people as I can. Women like me that were once not doing that. Now it's time. It's your time to give back to you through painting.
I love that. And yeah, it absolutely does resonate with what I do as an art therapist, of helping people to express themselves and that sense of being able to just connect with who they are rather than being stuck on what they should be doing. Yeah. So how did you get started?
So my journey started from a place of pain, as many people's journeys do. I was in a relationship in lockdown, and was a coercive, controlled relationship, which basically means that every aspect of your life is controlled, from what you wear to what you eat to how you sleep to how you breathe. Everything you monitored all the time. And I was at that time in lockdown. If anyone remembers, it was really intense. Luckily, his mum had moved in with us at that time. I think she was my savior. I lost me. I didn't have me anymore. I was just, if you think of an empty shell, I was here, but inside, I was gone. There was no light anymore, no spark. I always refer to it as a spark. And during lockdown, I was chopping some onions and he was watching me and I dropped them on the floor. Now, my heart sank because I knew I'd made a mistake again. And when I went to pick him up, he just towered over me and he said, "You are absolutely useless." And that time, them words hit like no other. I've heard them every single day, but that time they hit. And I took the decision to flee that relationship. So many days later, I did. I left. I got in the car. I drove away and I went back to my mum's. My mum, who, oh my God, I love so much. But the problem was my life had crushed. So I no longer had my job. My career had just started because of COVID. No longer had my house that I owned. I no longer had me, my identity. So I had to rebuild everything up, and I wasn't sure how to do that with the pressure of COVID as well. So my mind was like a turnstile, it was spinning and spinning. And I just sat on the bed and I saw some paints on the side in my mum's spare room. Now, these must have been the grandchildren's paints. And I looked at them and I remembered that I used to paint growing up a lot. My dad and my sister are both artists. I used to paint a lot to help when I wasn't feeling great, like exams, whatever it was growing up. I just used to love doodling. I used to love playing. And I thought, I'm just going to pick up these paints. So I started painting. I just thought, let's just see if it helps. And immediately, like no other feeling I've felt before, I had this huge rush of warmth from the tip of my head right down to the tips of my toes. I was starting to mix the colours that I remembered that I loved. I was starting to think of memories that I wanted to paint, like going to Cornwall as a child. I started feeling quiet. in my mind. I started feeling nothing about what was going on in the future, in the past. It was all in that present moment. And it gave me that break that I needed. So I kept painting and I rebuilt my life up step by step. I got my money back. I got my house back. I got a great job. And then years later, I took the decision, I want to do this for other people. I want to help other people. So that's what I do today. I help thousands of women reconnect with their creativity and that give back them time again, reduce their overwhelm through learning how to paint, because the benefits are incredible and you don't have to be an artist to allow yourself that gift. So that is why I do what I do. And I'm so passionate about it. You probably can tell.
Yeah. Oh no, it's such a journey, really, that, for want of a better word, that you've been on. And sometimes when people see somebody online or see somebody at that kind of more successful end of their journey, still carrying on and making progress, they often find it hard to see that they've been through those challenges. And they might be or some people might be seeing your story and thinking, well, if she can do it, then I can express myself too. So I was thinking about kind of those things and about the choices that you make in, mixing colors and doing all of those. And they can seem to be like really small things, but actually it sounds like they were really quite profound for you. So yeah, those things of actually mixing the colors and seeing that weight sort of lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah, it gave me back the empowerment. It gave me back the control. I had no control over anything. And it gave me everything back. I had mixed that colour, so it was mine. It gave me the empowerment that I had done it. I felt like I'd achieved something. I felt like I was worth something because I was achieving just them little things. And I believe it's the little things that compound to make the big thing. It's always the little steps, the little wins along the way. It's not the big things, I believe, truly.
Yeah. And that snowball effect of doing something, even if you are not sure how it's going to go, and it feels like that would have taken a lot of courage and taken a lot of trust, and maybe taken a lot of like maybe ups and downs along the way of like, I'm doing this anyway, I'm not sure where it's going to go, but even if I don't know where it's going to go, I'm just going to keep moving and keep going with that.
I honestly, there have been so many times along my journey I have had to do incredibly hard things that if I was to think of the outcome, so I had to go and reclaim my house back. So I had to turn up with the police at my house and face my ex. And that was something I never thought I would ever do. I never thought I'd be strong enough to do that. But if I was to sit and often think about how that's going to play out on that day, I would have taught myself out of it. So every time I caught myself doing that, that's when I would take the moment to be present and start painting, so that then I wasn't focused on the outcome. I was focused on them little steps that day, that present moment. And that was really important to me because it is hard. There are a lot of hard things in life, and we need to be more present so we don't scare ourselves out of doing the things that we can do.
That's so true, isn't it? And that sense of being present in the moment whilst creating. So there's a sense of, when I think about art and being creative, there's times when I've struggled with like my mood not being so great, and then I realize, hang on a minute, I've not made any art this week. That's probably why. Or like maybe worrying about something in the future, and then when I get into the present moment, it's like, oh, that sort of dissolves. But it's, yeah. And is this part of the messaging that you sort of like, how you help people then?
Yeah, exactly that. I help people through giving them that pause, through giving them that time to be in the present moment. I mean, like I say, we are all human and our brains are always quite negative, aren't they? A little bit of negative bias going on. And it's quite easy to think of all the bad things, but what I teach is to look at the good. I did a landscape challenge just last week, and the final video was critiquing. Now, critiquing, when you look at it, you might think, oh no, what's wrong? what I did, I said, I want you to find 3 good things right now. 3 good things about your painting before you even think of what is wrong. And that sets you off in the right frame of mind. So I do like to keep people grounded in the present moment through learning how to paint with acrylic, but encouragement and positivity is massive for me as well. So you'll always get that encouragement and that positivity because we need that in life. We need that. There's too much of the bad stuff. We need the good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes, like, I'd imagine that without that instruction, without that guidance and that encouragement to and permission to give yourself some praise, that some people would be instantly comparing their painting to somebody else's, or being reminded of maybe some past kind of experiences, maybe in education that can have a big impact on people. So actually, like, even if it feels like the smallest of things, being able to then say, oh, actually, I really like the fact that I chose the colours myself, or I chose those things.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly that. I work with a lady actually, in fact, a few ladies. It's terrible how many times this has happened. That this one lady in particular, 40 years ago, she was told at school that she was rubbish at art and she shouldn't pursue it. So she never did. And she
Yeah.
waited 40 years. And then 40 years later, she took the courage to come to one of my art classes and she opened up and she said how terrified she was. So words have impact. Now I'm pleased to say she's been painting for months and months and she's doing incredibly well, but words have impact, whether that's negative or positive. And that is why I lead with positivity, because they do have impact and they impact me as well on a daily basis. My brain's like, am I good enough? Are these people getting what they need from me? And then I need my partner to say, Jen, you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I think we all need that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so common, isn't it, to have that expect that certain shoulds about how we feel that we should be acting, and our brains are often the biggest critic. So to be able to step away from when other people have criticized, and then to not internalize that and embody that with our own mind, that's such a profound thing. And yeah, to be actually able to do that and being able to have maybe something in the middle that helps. So I'm doing this because it's like I'm imagining this is where my art is. I look like I'm playing the piano because my fingers are all out.
Maybe you are.
But it's the same with music, or same with like singing, or same with dancing. There's that kind of that almost like that third person in the room, that extra thing going on. That's we've got the other people's criticism, we've got our own kind of thoughts and feelings, and then we've got the creativity that just is the present moment sort of thing, and just there.
Couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I mean, we are creative beings and creativity is a vital part of our life. And nowadays, sometimes we are losing touch of it a little bit, and people just need that gentle reminder in whatever form of creativity that comes. And that's where we step in.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes people, for me, have said things like, I'm just not very creative. And my sort of message is that everyone's creative. It's just we might have it sort of suppressed or hidden, or we might not have allowed ourselves to practice it. So do you tend to find that do you get people that have that sort of that mindset of, well, I'm not creative, but then, and then they maybe needing a bit of convincing, or are people already kind of bought into it, but maybe needing that
So
extra nudge?
let me be brutally honest here. 99.9% of people, in fact, I'd be confident to push it to 100, think that they cannot create, that they are not artistic.
Yeah.
And wow, it again is that self-belief, isn't it? We often, again, words have meanings, and a lot of people think artist and they think, oh well, if I'm not studied, say I've not studied, I've not taken A-level art or whatever, then you've got that belief and that identity that you are not an artist. But really, everyone's an artist. Everyone has that unique style inside of them and that creativity, and you bring something special. Every single person. I take a class of people, we all paint the same thing, whether it's your first time or your fourth time or so on. Every single painting is different. Someone's used a brush a different way. Someone's mixed a color a different way. We all have and see the world in a very different way. And it's just seeing your version of that. And there is never any right or wrong in art, as we know. So you can't go wrong. And you have got the creativity. You just need help and guidance sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to ask for help, isn't it? A lot of people, like myself included, there's times when I like really lean into that support and have my own coaches and mentors, and like times when I'm really like seeking the support from other people, and times when I'm kind of actually I need just to keep going and doing things myself.
Yeah, community is everything. Finding your tribe is everything. I said it last night on the call to 112 people. I said, without you here, this would be nothing. This would be nothing. I started my art journey through helping me with my mental health, but I kept it to myself. The second I showed someone, actually my partner that walked in on me painting, he said, "Wow, you can paint." Oh, can I? The second I showed it someone, that is when the growth happened. That is when the journey happened, really. The journey to where I am today, doing it for other people, because you need them people to lift you up when you're not feeling great. You need them people to inspire you, encourage you, and guide you. Community is so strong, so strong.
Yeah, and like sometimes it's witnessing somebody else doing it that can almost give permission that, oh, well, I can do it too. And that reminds me of the sort of 4-minute mile analogy of, you know, so Roger Bannister ran that 4-minute mile for like the first time, and then suddenly other people were doing it. And actually I'd maybe see that with creativity as well, that if there's maybe somebody that's in maybe a role that's traditionally not very creative, or you know that they have that sense that it's not, but then somebody in that team comes in with their artwork that they've made, then it's giving permission to be both, to kind of, well, I can be logical and I can be creative. It's not just like, oh, we can only use one side of our brain, which we can, it's just a whole mix.
It is a whole mix, isn't it? That is what we're all about, a mixture of everything just thrown in there. Sometimes you just lean into one more than the other. I'm assuming that's how I see it. Just lean into one and then you'll go back and forth. But sometimes one just draws you a little bit more, depending on the season in your life. Go ups and downs.
Yeah. And it's maybe trusting those ups and downs, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Having the faith. And again, that is where community comes in. And like you say, that first person to come in. And sometimes that's what it takes, because how many of us confident? Confidence isn't something we're born with. It's something we create and we get given through doing the things that scare us. And it takes that one moment, that 5 seconds of courage to say, let's just see what happens, or let's just show this painting. And others can help you along that journey, like you said, with the person and the painting, seeing that first thing, oh, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. And it's having that, maybe that courage to try, that courage to give it a go. And if there's that urge to create and that urge to paint, then it saddens me that people might live their life having that urge to do something and then they don't. And that just makes me really, really sad. And it kind of makes me think of how what I'm like with my art. And I'm often thinking, well, I'm not doing enough. And then people will be like really surprised that I'm not. And it's like, well, actually, there's not enough time in the day for it to be enough, sort of thing sometimes. But yeah, what's your own personal art practice like now? How's that?
So what do I paint right now?
Yeah, how do you, I mean, I say practice as in like, you know, a way of being and sort of thing, rather than practicing it. But so but yeah, how are you as an artist?
As an artist, I am very expressive. I just like to play. I love abstract. I love palette knife. I just like to give myself permission to express myself and heck with the outcome. I'm there to create and have fun. I'm there doing it for me. And that's the most important thing. It's about the feelings that I get, which is probably the same for everybody. I want to feel a certain way, and different days will be different. Sometimes I might not want to feel expressive. I might want to feel very tidy and neat, which is not very often. But yeah, I would say definitely expressive. And I teach every single day, and just seeing other people's faces light up and offering them my outlook and helping them along the way, that is just so rewarding. But yeah, I'm definitely a messy, expressive painter.
Yeah, and it's a definition, isn't it? It's kind of, there's a perception there of like that definition of messy, and some, when you said about, well, there's no wrong way of doing it, and actually, like, there's a lot of uncertainty, and for some people, being messy can feel like really liberating and freeing, and feel like I'm allowing myself to be messy. And for other people, it might be, well, I'm trying to do something neatly, but then it's their language that they might be using is gone wrong. Whereas actually, if they're shifting that language to, like, maybe they're trying something new, or they're curious about what's happening, allowing the paint to flow, then they might be able to kind of have a new meaning on it. So it might not feel like out of control. It might feel more intentional. And I don't know whether that fits with some of your ladies who have maybe just started and are maybe wanting to do things in a certain way, and then they get that magic of, oh, actually everyone's is different.
That's it. That is the magic moment. You always have a perception of how things should be, and in reality, it's what it when we are in the art class and someone has these thoughts and they're thinking, oh gosh, like I can't do this, and I'm doing this wrong. That is the magic moment when we show each other's artwork, because everyone's is different and it doesn't make it right or wrong. No one is painted the same over and over. So you are not wrong, because everyone has their own unique interpretation. And that is what I love doing. Showing last night when we did the Zoom, everyone held the paintings up.
Yeah.
They're all so different. And it's not like 90 people have got the same painting and one person hasn't. And then you're thinking, oh, mine's not the same. Every single person brings something special, and it's just about finding the moments to see that. Like I say, I'll hold the artwork up and show everybody, and each individual's paintings, to prove this, that there is no right or wrong. It is all unique, and then that reinforces the confidence for the next time.
Yeah, I love that, and just that energy of everyone being together, because I think in rooms like that, where I do a lot of online workshops and things as well, and like, so I can totally get what you mean when someone holding it up, because it feels like everyone's together in the same room. You could literally be in the same, like in the big hall together, and all 100 people to be together, because people are present. It sounds like people were really involved and really kind of looking to you for that leadership, which that feels really important. So
It feels special.
yeah,
Definitely.
so I was curious about if you've got any particular favorite artists or particular influences that you've looked to, or you've kind of maybe bounced back to in your life, to do with artists or other influences.
Yeah, so the biggest influence for me was actually at school. I don't know, I was a teenager. And it was the first time that I saw art in a different way. And I thought, oh, art can be made up in different ways. It was George Surratt. This painting he'd done with dots, with pointillism. I was like, what? It just showed me that you can open up and unlock different doors in art. It doesn't have to look, again, the thing, it doesn't have to look a certain way. That is where the magic, and I always think of that. I always think of that when I think about it. So he got me into really, wow, like I can just create and try different things, and that's okay. So that's where I started. Now now, right now, in this moment, the artists that I look up to that are quite active, there is one in particular. She's called Katie Joblin. Now she
Okay.
started. Yeah, you don't even know it.
I know who she is, but I can't think. I think I am following her on Instagram, but I can't
Yeah,
remember what her art's like. I'd have to have a
she's
look. But remind me.
beautiful. She's an impressionistic artist. Now she's been on social media for God knows how long, decades, since she was a kid probably, and she has been helping people through YouTube videos how to paint. But what she teaches is that it starts messy and then you refine. And I love that because we so often want the refine straight away. So she shows you how it can be built up in stages, and she's just so loose and so expressive with her painting, and she's a wonderful human as well. From what I've known of her, I actually bought her course years ago because I invested in her because I wanted to be like her. She just inspired
Yeah.
me so much. So that's a present artist and a past artist, for
Mm,
different reasons in my journey. Yeah.
yeah. And they seem really quite similar in many ways, that there's that sense of doing something that is unexpected,
Yeah.
maybe breaking some of the rules as to how people might perceive doing art the right way. And
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah,
because
absolutely. Never really thought of that before you've asked me. That's brilliant.
actually, when Seurat would have first created those images, much like the Impressionists, much like sort of those early abstract artists, they would have been like looked at with sort of trepidation as to like, is that art really? What's that? What's going
Oh,
on there? And actually, they would have had to have that determination, that tenacity that, well, I'm just going to do it anyway, even if I'm misunderstood. And I think that feels like a quality of a creative person, of an artist. But
yeah.
do you see any other sort of key qualities when you work with so many creative people, like that kind of just doing it anyway quality? What other sort of values or qualities maybe that you have that you see in others that you think are
Oh,
important with
yeah,
this?
it's so important to. So my values are very much strong within alignment of my community. We value encouragement. We value being kind and lifting each other up. So, and community encouragement, it's so important. Like I said before, you don't want to do the journey alone, and when you've got someone there that can, say you've got 20 people in our class and there's a lady in there and she's not painting what she wants and she feels really sad. If I'm not around, there's someone say, hey, no, you're doing great, look at that. It means the world, and that is what creates confidence and what gets you to go that extra mile with that brush. When someone sees a beauty that you can't and encourages you, and just supporting each other. So that
Mm.
is what I would say. 100%, the
Yeah,
community.
yeah, and being able to have that encouragement and that maybe reassurance can be really valuable, can't it? And like, I hear so many things about maybe negatives about kind of seeking external validation and that not necessarily being a good thing. But I think that when it's about, you creating that connection and you wanting to do it for you and to be able to work through what you're wanting to express, and you're maybe checking in with somebody about how it is, then
Yeah.
that's helping somebody to get to the next step where they might then become more confident in what they're then doing. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah,
If it wasn't for my mother as a child saying to me, you're doing a great job, keep going, when I was taking my first steps,
yeah,
maybe I wouldn't have carried on. Maybe I would have thought walking's not for me. We always need that in life. I feel like that is a need, and
mm,
it's not to be looked down on at all, because that promotes growth when people are saying, hey, that's good, but also owning as well, owning yourself and your confidence as well, owning that, hey, I know this is good. That is something beautiful as well on the
mm,
opposite side. But as both work.
yeah. Oh no, that just feels like it's making me want to get my paints out right now and like mean, maybe we should have been like painting while we were talking. In
Oh,
theory, there's an option for that. But yeah, I have a question here about, like, maybe I've got a few, but say if we were to meet you like outside of the art space, just generally like behind the scenes, what would we notice? What would we be like?
What would you notice?
Are you, because I'd imagine I see you sort of like with really high energy and everything like
Yeah.
this. Are you the same like when you're not
I
behind the
care.
scenes, or?
I care so much about the people that invest in me that I do spend a lot of my time working relentlessly. A lot of people won't notice what I do behind the scenes. I was up till 2 a.m. last night making sure that I was getting back to everybody because it's a community that mattered to me. So yeah, I've always been someone that cares for others. I always have been, and I've always been a really good listener. So if you meet me in person, I will not be butting in and talking. I'll be sat and I'll be listening because it's important for me for you to be seen because I always see beauty in people, and I like to see that. So I like learning about people, and yeah, I work really hard. I work really hard, but I love it. I love it. I'm very passionate. You'll see that I'm passionate at what I do, and I've not done it today, but I usually talk with my hands a lot. I've been really good.
Yeah.
And probably because I've not had any sleep. I'm very passionate. I'm fun. I'm bubbly. I'm very dippy. I'm clumsy, very clumsy. I drop paint on the floor all the time. But yeah, I just care. I'm a very caring person. I'm very positive. I'm a little mini Tony Robbins. I'm sorry.
I love that. It's like the art world's Tony Robbins, Jenny Robbins.
Oh gosh, don't. My head's gonna explode. I wish. I've said it now.
You're like,
Watch out, Tony.
unleash the artist within.
Oh my
You know
gosh.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Watch out,
Oh
Tony.
yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like that kind of brings me into those questions about like, how would you like to be remembered? Is that how it feels like, be that kindness and that community and those things are maybe covered with that?
Yeah, I'd just like people to remember me. Oh, there's a fly. Not like that.
Yeah.
I'd like people to remember me as someone that made them feel special, someone that made them feel seen, and someone who was kind. That's it.
And it sounds like you certainly do that with the groups that you hold and the spaces that you hold. Like, I really appreciate that. And it's like every time we've spoken, you've been really encouraging of me, so I really appreciate that as well. So how might people find you generally and maybe get involved in some of those things? What's the next steps for people?
Okay, if you want to come and find me, just go to Facebook and type in Jenny Hardacre Art. Hardacre. Jenny Hardacre. I'm on there. I've also got a link you can click. It will take you to. I've got a Facebook group with 70,000 in. We've got other things like the membership, things like that. And I go live daily, Monday to Friday, teaching people how to paint on my page, Jenny Hardacre Art. So come along, give painting a go for free. See if you enjoy it. Connect with me. Chat with me. My inbox is always open.
Yeah, I love that. And I think sometimes like your energy, Jenny, is so welcoming, and so like when you say my inbox is always open, I feel that, whereas I hear that a lot from people, and then it doesn't really ring true, but it feels like what you see is what you get with you, and that maybe comes across in your artwork as well. That's like what you're putting on your art, and what I'm maybe reflecting on is your experiences and that starting point of maybe being in that space where you couldn't really be yourself.
100%.
Yeah. Because it makes me kind of maybe imagine that because you've known what it's like to not be yourself, you'd be relentlessly authentic. Like, I have to absolutely be myself because I know what it's like to not.
Yeah. You know me already. You're spot on. That is exactly it. I feel like I was reborn, and then I just fell in love with myself again. And it's so important to love yourself and appreciate yourself. It can be so hard on ourselves, can't we? And I'm glad I come across like that to you, Leslie, because that means that I am doing the right thing. Then it means that I am the person that I say I am, which is good. Thank you.
Yeah, and talking on the online space can be a bit challenging, and sometimes it can feel a bit clunky and things. But yeah, it's
comments.
yeah, it's so easy. It's so easy to kind of think, oh, but yeah, it's great to be able to talk to you properly and to be able to get a grip on what you do and how you help people and how that's your messages coming from the heart.
Oh, thank you, Leslie. Honestly, thank you so much for having me on and for giving me this space where I can do this, because it's important to have conversations like this, because at the end of it, all we want is for you at home listening to feel enough that you can create, feel enough that you are special. And I hope listening to this conversation has helped you do that today. So thank you for helping me get the message out. And you're a wonderful person. I love, if you're looking at Leslie's screen right now, look at them paintings, look at that artwork. Oh, so colourful, so beautiful. And you're just a wonderful giving person yourself. And you're out there to help others. You really are. And you're on a mission and you're doing it. You're doing it. So I'm excited to just watch you help more and more as you grow and grow, as I am. It's cool.
So this has really been lovely to speak to you. Is there anything that you think that we haven't talked about that we maybe needs to be said, or that you feel that you've got a burning thing that you feel that's missed?
The only thing I would like to say is just again repeating that message, because it can't be repeated enough. If you are listening at home, I want you to know that you are enough. You have everything you need already within you. I promise you, you do. Sometimes you just need the guidance and the support to unlock it. But you are enough, and that is the message I want to leave with today. And if you don't feel like you are, find me and I'll tell you. I'll message you.
So important, isn't it?
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Jenny, and thank you all for listening to A New Pace podcast, where we take time to pause, act, create, and empower. And it feels like within this conversation, there's been moments that have aligned with all four of those elements of really being able to step into your true self as an artist and help other people to do exactly the same. So thanks so much. Cheerio and bye for now.
Bye. Oh,